What's up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight to continue our lake breakdown series of Lake Eufaula, Oklahoma. This one's a giant one, so we broke it into three different sections. The section that we're still working on is the eastern section, more of the northeastern section, over by the dam and kind of that area, and the little triangle area, which is more kind of the center of the lake. But we covered it in the first video, so if you missed that, make sure to click the link above or go look at the lake breakdown playlist. We've got it out there. But tonight, we're going to continue this breakdown and move on up and see what else we can find in this eastern section. Let's go. All right, well, welcome back to the Lake Eufaula lake breakdown. Here we are down on Google Earth, and just want to show you guys to start off with, if you missed the first video or if you haven't seen any of my lake breakdown videos, give you a quick snapshot of how we're doing this. Now, Eufaula, obviously, giant lake, giant lake. So we had to break this down into a couple different sections. So what we did is we did the Eufaula Northwest. That's going to be anything north and west of Highway 69. So you've got all this stuff in here that you could check out if you get that section. If you go to Eufaula South, that's going to be pretty much the triangle area, kind of south of that area, south of 69, south of Highway 9 there. And then Eufaula East is going to be the triangle area up towards the eastern side. So what we did on our last video is we actually started down here. We worked our way all around this whole area and came over here right off this this point that's right here. So what we'll do is we'll start right here on this point, basically right there where it says offshore for today, and we're going to work our way up and see what else we can find. Now, let me show you how this thing is broken down, because each lake is different, depends on really what we find in the lakes based on the breakdowns. But on this one, pretty much in this section, these are all the different things that we were able to find. So bridges and culverts, there were plenty of bridges and culverts. You guys know those are great places to fish around, good hard spots, lots of debris, stuff like that. Just always good stuff to fish around. So plenty of that on this lake. You can see all of those are covered, and we'll talk about those as we continue the breakdown. We also have channels and ditches. So anywhere we were able to find a channel, or we were able to see a channel or see a ditch, what we do is we mark those with the tracks. You can see those tracks here, those little green tracks. And that actually lets you know that, hey, there's a creek channel here, there's a ditch here. Also, when you get back into some of those main arms, you can really position yourself very well on the creek channel because you have that path that shows you exactly where it's at. Now, Oklahoma Department of Wildlife also put out some fish attractors as well. So what I've done is I've converted their GPS coordinates over here, brought them into Google Earth, also brought them in for the SD card that you can put on your graph, but basically have all those here as well. Those brush piles can be really good. Don't ignore them just because you're a bass fisherman and think they're just for crappie. They can be great for bass as well. Then, of course, we have lots of different offshore hotspots for this lake. This looks like a great lake to go do some offshore fishing on. Now, we're not going to cover those in this video for the Google Earth side. What we'll do is we'll circle back with the whole series using the Navionics boating app, where we'll pull this up using the contours, and we'll talk about why we believe these spots are great spots for offshore spots. All right, now we also have ramps and slabs. Really depends on what you want to call them, but there's not as many here on this lake as you'd think, as big as this lake is, but you do have several different ramps that you can fish. If you've watched any of my videos before, I love to say, hey, fish that boat ramp pattern, and that is definitely a good pattern to run. Not all the time, but it can be a money pattern at times, and so if that is the pattern that's working, you've got it broke down here for you pretty quickly. You've also got several different roads that are out here now. These little red marks are different roads that are going through, so you can see one that's way up here. We've got that one marked. We've also got roads marked with other things as well. So you'll see mostly tracks here if we can see the road really well. If we can't, we'll just put a marker there. Usually just look for the marker where it says culvert. And then if you see the culvert, you know there's a roadbed nearby and you can follow it either side. Now, a couple more things to show before we jump into this. We've got lots of different rock. Obviously, Eufaula's got crazy amounts of rock, so we can't mark every single rock on Eufaula. But what we do is we mark the areas that are high percentage areas, and that's where that rock is. Maybe that rock's in a high percentage area. If it is, we're going to go ahead and mark it. And then last but not least, we really just have different types of man-made structure, as well as regular structure like humps, flats, and things like that, and then laydowns, debris, whatever we could find. So let's go ahead and jump into this thing. I'm going to take off the offshore stuff. We're going to pull this back, move this over to the side, and I'm just going to zoom in here just a little area here. And just what we're going to do is we're going to pull this date back, and we're going to get this thing as far down as we can. Notice that 2015 right there, 2017, that was pretty shallow right in here. So we'll just concentrate on that area and see how low we can get it. This is 2012. Looks like 2017 is going to be our best image, unfortunately. So let's go back to 2017. Thought we might be able to find one a little bit better. And what we're going to do, again, we did all of this on that first video, right? So now what we're going to do is come up here where we stopped. We stopped right at that slab that was right there. We're going to come around the point. Obviously, there's going to be some stuff we talk about offshore-wise off that point, but from a Google Earth standpoint, really couldn't see anything on there to really mark for you guys. Pretty standard kind of bank line. You know, you got your random areas where you got a little bit of rock and stuff, but not enough for me to want to put a point there for you. So as we move up and we get back in here into this little area, you got some pretty good little points that come off here, and there are some potential spots here. In fact, it looks like we missed one right here, but look right here where all this rock is. I mean, that looks juicy. So I'm actually going to go over here and add that in, because every time I come out here and I do these breakdowns, I always find something new. So there we go. We got some rock there as well. That looks good. And you got that little stick up that's right there too. Man, I don't know how I missed that one, but that looks good. Definitely take a look at that. Then moving over here, you know, if these points look decent, you've got some stick ups and stuff in here. So be careful, because you could do a little prop problems back in here. But you got a little creek channel that comes back here. Notice it right here. Anytime you get these creek channels, you definitely want to fish around them, because there's going to be a lot of oxygen and things like that. But this little creek channel swing coming in right here, and then whatever that debris is that's right there off the edge of that, could be like a brush pile someone put there or something like that. That area right there, definitely want to go back and check that one out. You got another laydown that's up here, nothing too crazy, and you've got some pretty good flats that are over here outside the edge of this creek channel. So getting up here, see if they're roaming around. If they're not, come down in here. These docks set up really good, because notice that creek channel comes down and swings right back behind those docks. So those 3 docks are going to be good docks to fish as well. I'm sure they love me telling you guys that. Now we're going to go ahead and move out. We're going to come over here past this little Love Beach area. Another good little flat coming off the top of this point. Has a little bit of underwater cover, you know, some stumps and things like that. But this would be a good little feeding area for them to get up on, especially in the fall time of year. That'd be a really great place to look. And then moving out here, you can tell it's really windy. Look at the waves coming up. Just got some laydowns, marked a few different laydowns that we see in here. Another boat ramp that comes out here. I like this one, this main lake boat ramp, right? With that little bit of rock around it when you really got nothing but a bunch of sand and things in the area. So good one to take a look at. Also moving out here, some pretty good amounts of laydowns that are out here, right here off the edge of this point. So something to consider. And you can tell this is shallow, because look how long those boat dock ramps are, but they're pretty long. But moving up here, get in here, we just got a lot of laydowns to look at, just sections of laydowns. Obviously, you know, you can fish the docks, but right in here, you got a big chunk of laydowns. Over here, you got kind of the same thing. And then right in here, you got kind of the same thing as well. So if that laydown pattern was working, you've got a few little laydown areas just right in here that would be worthy of going to look at. We're going to get a little bit further back in here, really just seeing a couple different things. We've got some shallow flats that you could go take a look at. One's right there. Got some more back in here where this creek channel is. Got a nice little hump that's right here. It looks like it's got a hard spot on it as well. Looks like it's buoyed up. So when you see the buoys, you know you're really close to it, but you know that's going to produce some fish right in here. And there's actually a ledge right over in here too. And we'll talk about this on the offshore. Not sure how this got put out here on the cover, but definitely a good offshore spot right in here, and this hump right in here. Both these spots right in here are going to be good from an offshore perspective. We're going to move back up in here, really just an old road bed with a culvert. Now I know it doesn't look like much right here, but if we move that up to 2018, actually it's not going to let me go up any farther. So the lake was still down. Let's get the lake back up to a little bit normal. Well, this probably might actually be really full here, but you can tell that's covered up. So still pretty shallow back in there, but maybe worthy of fishing if you can find it when the water's actually not so low. You know, that might be good. You've also got this pond that's here. Notice how much different that looked. Even in 2017, it looked, well, you can still see a pretty good pond there. was going to say whatever date we are. Here's 2014. You don't even know that pond is there. So definitely those pond dams can be money. So check out that pond dam right up in here on the back side of it too. And then right here where that little opening is, where that little ditch is. You got another Oklahoma Department of Wildlife fish attractor right there. Looks like they might even put a buoy right there to let you know it's there. I can't tell, but there's definitely something right underneath that tree that I put there. This is that pond I was thinking about earlier. I was getting confused with this pond and that pond. Don't know if this one doesn't look like the water comes up high enough to get to it. Got another decent little ledge right in here, and you can see it starting to happen right in this area. So you could maybe just fish right in here and just see if you can find anything. I think the water has to come up for that ledge to come in play, though. All right, we're going to come over here, more flats back in here, another little ditch and a culvert back in there you can check out. Same type of thing here, just big flats, and then a nice little culvert back in there too. So we're going to swing around, show you guys where I was. We came off of that main point, right? Now we came around here, got all the way back in there, and now we're going to come up a little bit further. We're going to see what we can find up here. So points galore, right? This lake has just so many different points, but some of these points have some pretty good drops on them. There's actually a decent little ledge here. You can start to see it right there. You've also got a hump out here we'll talk about on the offshore stuff. We've got more flats back in here, good little spawning areas. A little bit of hard spot right in here you could check out, and then another hard spot right there off the edge of that point. Notice if I zoom in here, you're going to see it. But that rock ledge kind of starts out here. So staying off the bank a little bit, right? That's still a little ways off the bank, but that's right where your rock, your harder area is, and probably more where your fish are going to be attracted to. So we're going to come back up in here. We've also got some slabs that are back in here, some additional rock that's back in here. This looks really good. Nice little ledge right here, creek channel. All looks juicy. This looks juicy. All of this over here, all this hard area, all this rock that's up in here. You got some additional rock that's out here too. I can't remember how we figured out the date. I can't seem to get the dates for work for me today, but trust me on it. We've got some rock out there. Then also over here, some more rock, just a lot of rock in this area. This one, you can start to kind of see that something's going on right in here. So you can tell that there's some rock and things going on right in that spot right there. Those other ones are a little bit harder to tell, but at one point in time, I was able to get the images a little bit better and I could see those rocks, but for some reason tonight, it's not allowing me to do it. But we've got some more really shallow rock up in here. And then look at this, you love to see stuff like that. I mean, when that water comes back up and that rock gets underneath there, I mean, that's juice. That's juice right there. That just looks really good. And then you got obviously all these big flats that are back here too. And you got a pond that's back here. So if I move this back up, that might be where we actually found those other rocks at. But move this back up to 2017. Here's that little pond right here. Not much of a pond, but a real good creek channel. So you can definitely go in there and fish around that creek channel and see what you can find back in there. Another creek channel back here, some more flats. Just a somewhat of a pond dam, a little bit of a pond dam here. Looks weird because it's kind of connected to this point, but fishing right around in here. I mean, I know it's not marked, but that's the kind of spots I'd look for as well. I'd look for any of these pond dams that I fish around, and especially if it was in the summertime, I'd be looking for those big time. So then we're going to move down. We talked about that little pocket there, come back down. Here we see the flats coming off these points. Again, those good little feeding tables. We got some more rock around here. Got a little slab coming back here. Calls it a slab, but really it's more of a ramp, so you can call it either way, but either way, it's a good place to go look for some fish. And then I wouldn't count out this little point either. I didn't mark it because it's really not much to mark here. Obviously just some type of a seawall that they built, but those can be really good. Maybe not up in here because that looks super shallow, but definitely off the edges of that point, fishing around that can really help you out. And then we're going to move on. See another ramp up here. We got some really good rock around this ramp. Got a really good flat coming over here off the side of this ramp as well. Some more rock coming out of there. Actually missed these two. So I'm going to go ahead and mark those for you as well. But you got some rock there. And you have some more rock right here. So all these little rocky points coming on. I don't know if this is a state park or what this is. It looks like some kind of a park. But definitely a good place to look. It actually is. It's Bellstar Corps of Engineers RV Park. Looks like a really cool park. Got another one of those points right there too. So you actually have three of them that are right there in a row. So if one of them was good, definitely go fish the other ones because they're probably all three going to be good. And moving up here, some more rock right around this edge. This one looks cool because if I move the water up, I bet that's going to be pretty well submerged. Yeah, it's got some really good depth to it right here on that side of it. So let's move on up and let's see what else we can find in here. Some more rock, just some shallower rock along the sideline, this bank line that's right in here. It's right in there. I got football on my mind apparently, and some more rock right in here too. Interesting little creek channel or ditch that comes back there. You can go check that out while you're back there. It's making a little bit of a cut, something they can hang around, maybe some brush right in there too. Then you got all this riprap right in here, fishing around this neighborhood, and some really heavy rock that comes over here. So if you look in here, this is some really heavy duty rock. And those are the kind of areas I like to fish around. The bigger, the chunkier stuff, that's the kind of stuff I like. Out here, you got some humps, some culverts. You've got a big flat that you can see here. Look at the water line. Notice how much lighter color it is right here. This is a big flat right in this area. And that can be a really good place to find some fish. There's more rock right in there too. And then as we move back in here, we've got some creek channels. Got one back in here, another one in here. There's some more flats back there that just pointing them out. And then as we move up here, you're going to start seeing some rock around these docks. All these little points that come out, where the man-made ones, those are going to be good ones to fish around. And then also some more rock out in here, some pretty heavy-duty rock out there. Same type thing back in here. You got a ramp. You've got a bridge back here, and this red line is actually a roadbed. So notice you can almost see it. There's where the road ended. And then this is where it kind of picked back up at some point in time. So you've got an old roadbed that runs basically straight through there. And right where that flag is where that bridge is. Then you got some flats over there, some more creek channels too. So definitely looks like a good area to go back there and fish around. The Indian Springs boat ramp is right here. And then you also have a pond that's here. You can kind of see it, but you got a little pond right in here. So you got a little pond dam to fish around, something like that, really close to that boat ramp. So you wouldn't have to go very far if you launched there. Well, we made it. We made it all the way to Highway 69. So what we're going to do is we're going to circle back since we're just looking at the east side, see what else we can find around in here. Now, a lot of the stuff's going to be offshore stuff, but we got some humps that are out here, and we'll show you guys that when we break down the offshore stuff so you can see it. Going down this bank line, pretty bare, not a lot of stuff to point out to you guys. More humps and culverts over here. And then as we move in here, just some interesting rock around this bank line. Pretty much starts right here. And it really wraps around, pretty far all the way back out to this point. So you could fish this point, and if it was good, maybe just stay on this side and fish all the way up to kind of where the edge of that point is right there. That's shallow fishing for sure, but it's Oklahoma, so you're going to be fishing shallow. Now, one place we didn't mark, but you definitely want to take a look at, is these tires. Anytime I find these tires on lakes, I always go fish around them, flip around them, throw A-rigs around, whatever I can find, whatever I can toss around them that allows me to toss around them, I'm going to go fish them. So when you're over here, I didn't mark them, but look and see how those tires are set up. In fact, let's go ahead and just move this up to 2021. All right, those tires aren't there anymore. So you may want to do some scanning in here because odds are some of those tires fell to the bottom. So you could have some underwater tires in here, but look around this break wall too. Fish love to hang around those break walls. Fish this little point here, fish this break wall, fish that shallow rock. You got some good opportunities right here in this area. You also have some brush piles back here. Look at this. I'm going to move this back to 2017. But you got a brush pile right here, really shallow brush pile. In fact, that one actually shows it's on the boat ramp. That's nice. So they must have meant for that to be over in here somewhere. I don't know. I will double check that and fix that one. We've also got a boat ramp here, another one of those fish attractors that's right there. And then over here, we've got a pond to check out as well that you can look at. Now, I don't know if that one actually gets deep enough for you to go and fish around, but another area you can come back is right in here where all this washout is, just right here in this area, right in here. So we're going to go down, move on up. We talked about those. I'm going to check that one right there. In fact, I'm going to highlight that and see what's going on with that and see if that was just bad coordinates or maybe I keyed in something wrong. I don't know, but we will figure it out and I will get that fixed. So we're going to keep moving up. Another culvert that's out there. Again, we'll talk about that stuff offshore wise. Let's swing around this big old point out here. I'd fish that point. I don't have it marked, but I'd fish it. I'm sure we have some kind of offshore thing marked right in this area. We have to. And then look here. This is an interesting bank line. Look how the everything just changed, right? We were in that white, brown, not white, but we're like tannish, really tan brown sand. And then all of a sudden we get over here and it's almost like lava sand or something. It's like this black sand. So very interesting that it changes there. Not too much to say from a fishing standpoint, but there's some good stuff back in here. I mean, this dock's got some good rocks back behind it. This point looks awesome. Let's take a look at that. We'll move that up to 2014. It just looks juicy. You gotta have to fish that. Cannot go past and not fish that. Then we're gonna move on down. Just all kinds of, just little areas, little patches of rock. Obviously, we couldn't mark them all for you, but you could take a look going down that bank line, but nothing too crazy to mark for you there. And then we get back in here where we're almost the end of the east side. We got a couple more things to show you here. One's really going to be, I know there's a ton of rocks. So you're wondering, why didn't you just mark all that rock? But because I would have had 1,000 waypoints out here. But this rock here stood out to me because it's more off the bank line. It's like its own little individual pile. And I don't know why, but just if it looks different, that's what they tend to relate to, right? So if you got a lot of things that all look the same right here on this bank line, the one thing that looks different is this one's out just a little bit further. This is just a little bit nicer house than everybody else has. And that's where the bigger fish like to hang out at. So that's what I'm going to focus on. Move it over here too. Check out this little point. I didn't mark it, but that point could have some potential. And then you've got this road bed that pretty much goes right through there. We've marked it here and it comes back up here. So check that little road bed in there. And you've got some additional rock to check in that back corner. So guys, I hope this is really helping you out. That finishes up our breakdown for the east side for Lake Eufaula. Obviously, we have to go still do the northwest side and the south side, and then we're going to come back and pull it up with the contour map and look at it from Navionics Boating and talk about the offshore capabilities, or not capabilities, but opportunities that are out here for us to go fish. So hope you're enjoying this video. Stay tuned. We're going to have a lot more. Hit that like button for me. Hit the subscribe button and make sure to go out and check out our site, simplisticfishing.com. We have all of these waypoints out there for you guys to purchase. You can purchase them on an SD card or you can have them emailed to you. Either way, it should definitely help you when you're out there fishing. Until next time, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.